Hello and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am the Crushinator. I will be your caster for this evening, and I'm bringing you a Division E matchup between the Baddest Dudes and One More Fight. Now, the teams are starting to get ready. The lobby is starting to be formed, but before we get into that, let's take a look at these two teams. As we see, the Baddest Dudes, as I've messed up my text formatting, but that's okay, it's still readable. Baddest Dudes coming into tonight at 2 wins and 3 losses in their match record, coming in at a 5-8 map record. Their map choices thus far this season, they've chosen Tomb of the Spider Queen 5 times and Towers of Doom twice. Their favored heroes thus far, 8 games on Leoric, quite a lot given their 13 so far, 6 games on Greymane, 6 games on Garrosh. On the other side, One More Fight coming into tonight's match at 3 wins and 1 losses on the match record, 6-3 on maps. They have chosen Infernal Shrines 3 times, Battlefield of Eternity twice. Their hero choices thus far have favored Johanna at 6 games played of their 9, then Jaina coming in at 4 games, and Rhaegar coming in at 3 games played. Duden Rocks, thank you very much for the follow there. Alright, the lobby is starting to be formed, teams starting to be invited. Looks like the teams are in the proper columns. The right team has first pick. Amazing stuff. Very, very good. Hope everyone's in chat is having a good time tonight, getting ready for this banner matchup in Division E. 2 teams that should be mostly on even footing here. Baddest Dudes having a lot of 2-1 series so far, so we may see a 3rd game here tonight. That would be my first 3-game series. It's all been 2-0 so far. So we'll let's hope for a nice back and forth series here. You like that stars page? Yeah, I really wanted a nice comparison page for the teams. I'm still doing some work on it. There's still some formatting and things to do, as you can tell there. But it's something actively being worked on here. I'll just check in with the teams. All right, we're still all set. Fantastic. Looks like everything's okay. TBD is showing ready. Just waiting on Baddest Dudes. Okay. There they are. In One More Fight, almost ready to go. Sparhawk, thank you very much for the follow. We appreciate the support. We're about to get into our draft here and start up with game number 1 in this Division E series. Got my water. Water's important. Don't forget to hydrate. Now's the time. If you're watching this game and you don't have your water next to you, you've got a couple seconds before this draft comes out. Go get your water. Gotta have it. It's important. Check your posture. Oh, make sure you're sitting back in that chair. Oh, yeah. Oh. One more fight. Gearing up for hopefully several more fights. And looks like they're ready to go. So as the draft starts, let's take you over to the map screen to tell you what has happened so far. Baddest Dudes did win the coin flip and chose map pick. Baddest Dudes then banned out Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass, and One More Fight choosing to ban out the most chosen maps of Baddest Dudes, and that would be Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom. Baddest Dudes then choosing to go to Dragonshire here for game number 1. Now that you know how we got here, let's get into the draft, as it will be One More Fight with the first ban here on Dragonshire. We have seen a lot of Leoric out of Baddest Dudes. Let's see if One More Fight has scouted this out, or if they're not that worried about a Leoric here on D-Shire. Leoric, not a traditional Dragonshire solo laner, but a good Leoric is a good Leoric. Sometimes comfort trumps map choice in terms of heroes, especially when you're not master's level with all the different heroes in the game. That's definitely the case for me. I play a lot of Artanis, and he is suboptimal in a lot of ways, but the way I play him, it's a lot better than possibly a better choice. Garrosh ban coming out from one more fight. Not interested in those throws and stuns. ETC now being banned by Baddest Dudes. Looks like we've got a bit of a tank choke going in the early ban stages. Let's see if one more fight wants to continue to whittle down the available tanks here, or if they are interested in banning out something else. Dragonshire, well known for roaming heroes, as all three lanes are important to getting the objective. Heroes that can roam and gank, very strong here. And it will be that Leoric ban, the most favored hero of Baddest Dudes, looking to put them on the back foot. And Rexar being banned out, always a threat on particularly Dragonshire and Braxis holdout, but really any map objective where you need to hold a point, Rexar and Misha are a very strong combo. So will we see that Johanna come out from one more fight? It is their tank of choice, and it is available. It may be prudent to pick that up with Garrosh and ETC already off the board, and we will see that Johanna first pick from one more fight. Greymane in response here from Baddest Dudes, along with Sylvanas, a very strong sieging duo here. When they get that Dragonite, they're going to get a lot of value out of it. Not to mention, if they lose that Dragonite, those two heroes can burn it down very, very quickly. Let's see what one more fight wants to pick up on this first rotation. They're going to get Brightwing, and they're going to pick up the Rainer. Brightwing, a strong Dragonshire pick for sure, being able to quickly rotate between the lanes with that Hyper Shift. Aiding in ganks, aiding in defending ganks, and generally being able to control multiple points at once as Brightwing. Baddest Dudes now looking for their second round ban. They see Johanna, Brightwing, and Rainer on the other side, and they're going to take out that Malthael. Malthael, a strong, sustained laner, can take those camps by himself. Looks like they want to make sure one more fight don't get to take all the camps without sending multiple heroes over to them. And we're going to see a Deathwing ban from the side of one more fight. Deathwing, a similar situation to Brightwing, a very low cooldown heroic, or a very low cooldown global, I should say, to be able to aid in those top and bottom lane gank opportunities. Taken off the board here. And we will see that Artanis, he's my favorite here on Dragonshire, along with a Tyrael front line. So a very classic Tyrael Greymane is going to be answered by a Sonya, and we're going to see who the remaining DPS choice is here for one more fight. They have an opportunity for a mage, or maybe they have an opportunity for something a little spicy. Let's see what they choose here on Dragonshire. It's going to be that Li Ming, definitely a spot for Li Ming on the flank with this squad. Rainer will be sitting tight in the back with Brightwing, and it's going to be a Morales. It looks like we have a possible Juice Pirates situation with the Tyrael and the Morales, along with heavy, heavy sieging heroes coming out from the side of Baddest Dudes. Do we have a cheese here coming out on Dragonshire? And will one more fight be able to find the answer to this? We will see in a moment. Game 1, Baddest Dudes versus one more fight, is starting right now. Loading into Dragonshire here. On the left side of the map coming in is the Baddest Dudes. We are going to see Demon Grand playing the Artanist. Mad Kaiser will be on the Morales. Giant Dwarf will be on the front line with that Tyrael. Night Raven playing the Sylvanas, and Savior will be on Greymane. Then on the right we have one more fight with Misteline on the Sonya. Newton Rocks will be playing the Rainer. Echo will be on Johanna. Hellstorm will be playing that Li Ming. and Midnight Fire will be on the Brightwing, as we see Baddest Dudes grouping in the top lane here, hoping to use that Sylvanas to possibly get an early tower. Now, if you're watching and you're not in the know about Juice Pirates, this is a strategy where Morales uses her Medivac ultimate to fly the entire team into a base, and Tyrael uses Sanctification so they can get extra time sieging this tower. And they're not even waiting, they're going straight for this fort at level 1. All 5 members of Baddest Dudes going straight for this fort. This is already half health. Night Raven taking a lot of damage, and that tower is going to be turned back on. Mad Kaiser getting blown up by the tower, and it looks like they may not get this fort. Demon Grand looking to swap into it. Tyrael goes down. The entire team wiped here by one more fight, but the tower taken out in the early game. We're going to have a serious advantage on experience on the side of one more fight, but will it matter? Will they be able to push ahead of this crazy cheese composition coming out from Baddest Dudes? Almost a full level lead here, level 2 to level 1, as one more fight looking to push in here as Hellstorm swapped out but manages to escape with that teleport. Looks like Baddest Dudes is responding to this top push as they trade out a fort for a wall. Shrines now starting in about 3 seconds, as Baddest Dudes is going to have to start to split into lanes. Though the cheese is real, they will need level 10 for it to really come online here. We see Demon Grand and Misteline battling here in the top lane. We see the remainder of one more fight controlling this bottom shrine. And Morales and Night Raven working on this siege camp. Could be a quick cap of the Dragonshire objective here from one more fight as they're pushing away Giant Dwarf. We've got a bit of a 4v4 situation here. Can Echo ward them away? Giant Dwarf using that Eldruin swap to interrupt the channel. Newton Rocks is channeling, but Greymane does interrupt it. Now they're trying to get a push onto Tyrael. 2 health left, manages to shield and get healed up by that Rainer, but Savior in a bit of trouble being split away from that Morales. Misteline sees it. Great communication here coming out from one more fight to get that kill. But meanwhile, Sylvanas in the bottom lane, taking that shrine back, forcing one more fight to come on down. Night Raven able to warp away, but it will be the bottom shrine going over to the side of one more fight once again. Bit of a brawl here between Brightwing and Tyrael, where Artanis and Sonya are going to duke it out over this top. We've got Brightwing now warping in on the side of one more fight. Demon Grand is going to have to be careful here with that movement speed coming out from Sonya. No wall to defend, but manages to get away. Another 3v2 scrap here in the middle, as Rainer working on this back camp. Both shrines going over to the side of one more fight, and still that one level experience lead. But Greymane manages to take the bottom camp while Rainer is busy on the siege. It will be picked up and pushing out this lane shortly. Sonya pushing heavily here onto Artanis, taking full advantage of that missing wall, as the remaining members continue to duke it out here in the middle lane, pushing the experience level. One more fight is going to have to be careful here as Artanis backs off due to this big Sonya pressure. The interrupts are going to be here, so one more fight will have to drive away the Baddest Dudes if they want to get this channel. Still a 3v2 as Artanis looking to take that top shrine once again. Rainer is pushing Greymane away, and we've got just a lot of delay tactics coming out from Baddest Dudes, hoping to get their heroics online. Here we see Artanis and Sonya continuing their battle. Rainer pushing back this Greymane. Rainer now coming to get an odd fight advantage here. Mad Kaiser taking a lot of damage from the Rainer, but the Tyrael shield manages to get Morales out of there, while Greymane is taking back the bottom shrine. Baddest Dudes are splitting just well enough to make sure that they don't end up losing the objective, but with Artanis going down, it looks like Newton Rocks just has to win this 1v1, and Baddest Dudes may have to give up the first dragon of the game here. Still a lot of delay coming out from Morales, Sylvanas, and Tyrael here. Baddest Dudes are going to have to be careful as one more fight is starting to group up here, wanting to get this first dragon. Sonya now coming down onto Night Raven. Sylvanas in a bit of trouble, has to use the E to get out of there. Will one more fight be able to drive them away? Raynor pushing heavily onto the bottom structure here versus Savior. Hellstorm looking for the channel here, but Tyrael once again warping in as Greymane actually going down to the Raynor pressure in the bottom lane, but a little bit too long. Giant Dwarf actually could be taken out here by the chasing Li Ming, as Artanis very briefly regains the top shrine. That's 2 members down on the side of Baddest Dudes, and now more than a level lead behind, but still having trouble with control of that middle lane is one more fight, as we see Johanna and Li Ming going for the Siege Camp invade. Got a bit of a lane collapse onto Artanis. He's going to have to be careful dueling that Sonya without the support of his wave. Meanwhile, Echo doing his best to zone out the members of Baddest Dudes, but the delay is incessant. Hellstorm once again going for the channel. That's a Morales interrupt. I think Hellstorm would do well to stop attempting the channel here, but actually manages to get it. Savior a little bit too slow and actually gets kicked away before Raynor can find that kill. Greymane coming up onto Sonya here. Actually engages onto it. Can Sonya spin to win? And yes, Greymane going down. The Sonya just insatiable here in the top lane with an 11-9 level lead on the side of Baddest Dudes. But things might start to turn once level 10 comes in here for the Baddest Dudes. Their comp really comes online with that Juice Pirate strategy. However, is it too late? Is the push just too strong here from one more fight? With almost all 3 of their forts down, this mid-keep wall being worked on by Li Ming. Level 10's now here. We see the blind coming out from Artanis to try to save that mid-wall. Giant Dwarf putting the pressure onto Li Ming and goes down to that big Greymane leap. Very nicely done by Baddest Dudes to collapse onto that push. Sonya was attempting to steal that bruiser camp, but with Li Ming going down, having to retreat, else be collapsed on by the rest of Baddest Dudes. Instead, retreating to her own bruiser camp to get that pushing in the top lane. Raynor working on this bottom siege camp, and we're gonna see when Baddest Dudes attempts their dive onto that top keep. They will need to cross the midline of the map to get that medevac in range. We'll see if one more fight can scope it out. Newton Rocks pushing away that Sylvanas, and it looks like the rest of Baddest Dudes down here working on the neutral bruiser camp. One more fight. Currently in a bit of disarray, knowing that the keep dive is coming, wanting to keep vision on those keeps. As we see the bruiser camp taken by Baddest Dudes. Brightwing and Johanna ready for that dive in, but right now, not a lot of vision. It's a tough decision here from one more fight, whether they want to go try to engage on the fight or whether they need to defend here. It looks like the side of Baddest Dudes getting ready to fly in on that medevac. Or are they going for this mid tower? Let's see what they end up doing. Here they come. All loading up and heading for this fort. Echo and Hellstorm are ready. What can they do here? We've got a huge stun coming out. Mad Kaiser actually taking a ton of damage, and Morales going down. Night Raven also taken out. Demon Grand, Savior, Giant Dwarf all going down, and they don't manage to get the keep. They get it to about half health. Now one more fight actually has the advantage of the bruiser camp pushing top. Let's see what they can do with these 20-second death timers. Looks like they're splitting. They want that Dragon Knight push power. Morales has come back online. About 5 seconds for the rest of Baddest Dudes to come up. Johanna looking to pick up a quick Dragon Knight, and it could be time for the counter push. Li Ming in a bit of trouble here in the center. If Artanis can land a swap, and not quite. Brightwing there for the save, and the Dragon Knight for the side of one more fight. With that now 3-level advantage, may be pushing to win here if they can find a couple picks. Here we see the Dragon Knight pushing onto that mid-keep. Greymane jumping in. So far the shielding on the side of Baddest Dudes, keeping everyone healthy, with Night Raven having to go back towards that Sonya pressure. Polymorphed is Savior, who manages to scoot on out of there with his E. Dragon Knight taking a ton of damage. In is taken away. Brightwing pushing back Baddest Dudes, and Echo now in a bit of trouble with that negative armor. Demon Grand looking for the swap again onto Hellstorm, but not finding it here. As one more fight, almost getting this mid-key, but will need another push to get there. And now, the threat of that Juice Pirates is all too real, as the objective is now spent. Though, one more fight. They're going to have to work quickly here to keep an eye on where Baddest Dudes is. They do need to get past that midpoint in the map to get in range, so keeping vision is critical here. Echo and Midnight Fire know exactly where Baddest Dudes want to go and are just out here waiting. Sonya keeping an eye out on the middle of the map. They want to make sure that they find that Morales when it's time. A good split here for one more fight, making sure that they have no lane to go to. And Baddest Dudes just waiting for their next opportunity. Only 3 members out on the map for one more fight as of now, so they won't be able to take any fights. They will just be able to keep vision and deal as much damage as possible before the next freight train comes into their top keep. And it looks like they may be setting up for it here in the mid. Sonya's still patrolling that top lane. Rainer's still patrolling the area between the lanes up here. Shrine's actually coming up in about 25 seconds, so they're going to have to make their move quickly, or else one more fight will get another quick Dragon Knight. Mistellan actually getting swapped by the Artanis, but with that wall still there, only so much they're going to be able to do. Hellstorm pushing back Night Raven. And it looks like one more fight is going to start this Bruiser camp. They want to make sure that that top lane is as pushed out as possible for a possible move onto core with this next objective. With a counter Bruiser camp here from Baddest Dudes, there's only so much they're going to be able to do. Li Ming taking top shrine, Brightwing now moving towards that bottom shrine. Baddest Dudes may have to take a straight up fight here as Hellstorm almost getting swapped out again. Just a pixel away is the Artanis from swapping the Li Ming back into the team. Mistellan is going to have to back off due to the Greymane pressure, but manages to go back in with the help of Brightwing. And without Sylvanas and Greymane, this Juice Pirates simply will not work as Sylvanas goes down, Hellstorm chasing down Greymane, but Axe just missing with that orb. Artanis now in a bit of trouble versus Echo and Newton Rocks here. Newton Rocks choosing not to chase, allowing Li Ming to push forward, and the Dragon Knight will be taken by the side of one more fight, and Brightwing getting that last kill onto Artanis. We could have a core push here on the side of one more fight with a very weakened mid-keep. Greymane being punted away by the Dragon Knight. This keep is going to go down, and one more fight is going to be looking to core here with an 18-15 advantage, a huge scaling advantage. Polymorph Greymane gets kicked away. Sanctification is going to have to be used defensively, but Savior is taking a whole lot of damage. Wailing Arrow is out. The core shielding is gone. Giant Dwarf going down. It's going to use that trait to take out the Dragon Knight down to 46%. All 5 members of one more fight still alive. 25% here on the core. Blind is out, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. One more fight. Managing to defeat the Juice Pirate strategy and defeat Baddest Dudes here in game number 1. Well, what a game it was. 18 kills to 1 on the side of one more fight. We had a Juice Pirate strategy coming out from the Baddest Dudes that almost got that top keep, but Johanna and Brightwing knew what was up the entire time, knew exactly when to stun, exactly who to polymorph, and we saw the strategy not work out that time. Very well done from one more fight to understand the win condition from the enemy team and understand that they needed to win the game as quickly as possible. Very nicely done there. Well, that was quite a game number 1. I've never actually cast that sort of strategy before. Very, very nicely done. Let me go ahead and message the Baddest Dudes to see whether they're looking for first or map pick. There we go. Let's get over here, update the score. Team +1. Boom. Dunzo. One more fight going up 1-0 in this series. Let's see what the choice is from Baddest Dudes, whether they want to take the map or they want to take the first pick here. With the Juice Pirates surprise strategy spent, we'll have to see what they choose to do here in game number 2. Still waiting for confirmation on our next map. Let's see what we had here in chat. Looks like some notes here on the Juice Pirate strategy. Yes, having all the cooldowns up at the same time is pretty key to getting that done. I thought they actually had a pretty good push onto that keep, but very well caught there by Brightwing and Johanna. Looks like Baddest Dudes are going to take us to Battlefield of Eternity, which for some reason I thought was banned. It is not. So let's get that updated here. Game 2, Battlefield of Eternity, once again chosen by the Baddest Dudes. So, Battlefield of Eternity. Opportunity for race heroes, opportunity for possibly that Artanis once again. Leoric can come out definitely on Battlefield of Eternity. As we get the lobby set up here. I haven't done a lot of research into the strategies of Baddest Dudes. I'm not sure what they like to pull out here on Battlefield of Eternity. But maybe we can get a hint if we just check out that comparison screen one more time and I remind myself of their most played heroes. We do see Leoric, Greymane, Garrosh. Those heroes do fit here on Battlefield of Eternity. Leoric, a very strong side soaker, being able to use that E to quickly go to and from the lanes and clear them quickly with that Q. Garrosh, a lot of control around those Immortals. And Greymane, obviously one of the best racers we have here in Heroes of the Storm. Meanwhile, we do see one more fight does favor the Rhaegar, a great race hero, a great camp taker here on Battlefield of Eternity. So we'll see if these teams allow each other to get the picks that they want, or if they're going to have to get creative here. Battlefield of Eternity lobby starting to fill up. Just waiting on one more player here. Don't forget to hydrate. Check that posture. Make sure you're not hunching. Make sure you're not leaning. Oh, yeah. Keep that chin tucked back. You don't want that gamer hunch. I've been spending a lot of years trying to make sure that I don't get that, because I spend all damn day sitting in this chair. Oh, especially now that I'm working from home, it's just sitting. But I am enjoying my daily walks immensely, especially now that the sun is actually out occasionally up here in Canada, and the ground is not covered with slush and ice. Looks like the teams are starting to get ready here. Let them know that I'm ready. So we're getting ready for game number 2 here. One more fight up, 1-0. Can they pull off the domination, or does Baddest Dudes with the map pick have some other strategy in mind? Looks like everyone's getting ready, so as we get into the draft, let's take you back over to the map screen to remind you of how we got here. Baddest Dudes did win the flip, chose to ban Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass. One More Fight choosing to ban Towers of Doom and Tomb of the Spider Queen. Baddest Dudes took us to Dragonshire with a Juice Pirate strategy, but fell to the pressure of One More Fight. With the option, Baddest Dudes is now taking us to Battlefield of Eternity. Let's get this draft going. One More Fight once again with the initiative here in the draft, having the first ban and first pick opportunity. Let's see, do they want to control that tank pick once again? Do they want to control the race potential? We did see some very strong sieging heroes coming out from One More Fight last game. Those also lend themselves to Battlefield of Eternity. We'll see if they can pick up that Sonya, that Raynor one more time here, as we see the Greymane being banned out by One More Fight. Not interested in taking it themselves, so making sure it is off the board, as it is a favored hero of Baddest Dudes. Now, with the first ban on the side of Baddest Dudes, I'm interested to see if they want to deny the Johanna pick this game. It will be the Zool ban. Zool, just a wave-clear monster here on Battlefield of Eternity. If Leoric is great at clearing lanes and getting back to the fight, Zool is even better. So making sure that point-and-click route is not in play for this game. The second ban, One More Fight, biding their time. Let's see what they want to take off the board. They've taken off one race hero so far. And it's going to be that Garrosh ban once again. Battlefield of Eternity in a particularly nice map for Garrosh, but overall, just a comfort pick for the Baddest Dudes, and it will be the Johanna ban. They don't want to see that Johanna again coming out from One More Fight. Now with the first pick opportunity and Johanna off the board, they may choose that Rhaegar that they'd like first pick, and it's actually going to be a Malthael. Not often do you see a solo laner's first pick here on Battlefield of Eternity. So Mistelten. Their name is Mistelten. I'm sure I'm getting this wrong. Wanting to make sure they get that Malthael, choosing it first. Rhaegar, Raynor is the response. Definitely in the meta here from the Baddest Dudes, wanting the best sieging healer and one of the top sieging ranged assassins in Rhaegar and Raynor. In response, we see the ETC picked up by One More Fight alongside Li Ming, so it looks like we've got a real race on our hands coming out here on Battlefield of Eternity. With the offlaner already picked for One More Fight, the healer spot and another DPS spot are open. Let's see what they don't want One More Fight picking up with this Malthael ETC Li Ming. It's going to be a Vala ban in case they were going for some sort of hyper race strategy. Vala, one of the remaining heroes on the board who is strong here with that Q build on Battlefield of Eternity. Let's see if we are going to get another race ban from One More Fight. Artanis, the last real classic race hero that I can think of here on Battlefield of Eternity. But it is going to be a further tank choke as ETC picked. Now Mal'Ganis, Garrosh, and Johanna banned. That really limits the options here for Baddest Dudes. Sometimes we do see a Muradin here on Battlefield of Eternity. With that sledgehammer, he can do a surprising amount of immortal damage. But they're going to start with the Jaina, and they're going to choose the Thrall in that off lane. Now we could see actually a Bloodlust composition coming out from the Baddest Dudes. Raynor and Thrall, very strong heroes to be having extra movement speed and extra auto attack speed, so they may be trying to overwhelm their opponents here. Though with the tank spot still open, we'll see what they choose there. The last two spots for One More Fight, we're going to see a Zul'jin, and we're going to see once again the Brightwing coming out for Midnight Fire, wanting to polymorph whoever's in front to allow possibly an escape from the Bloodlust. And it will be once again the Tyrael coming out from Giant Dwarf. Very interesting drafts here on Battlefield of Eternity. Very high race potential from both teams. We may just see a race-off on these objectives. We'll see which team blinks first and chooses to defend. as we're getting ready for game number 2 here on Battlefield of Eternity. Once again, it's the Baddest Dudes versus one more fight. Here we go. All right. Now loading into Battlefield of Eternity. On the left, once again, the Baddest Dudes with Demon Grand playing the Rainer. Mad Kaiser on the Rhaegar. Giant Dwarf will be playing Tyrael. Night Raven will be on Thrall. And it is Savior playing that Jaina. On the right side of the map, we have one more fight with Mistelton on that Malthael. Echo will be playing ETC. Midnight Fire once again on the Brightwing. Newton Rocks will be on Zul'jin. And Hellstorm playing the Li Ming. Looks like we've got a bit of a split here, making sure no funny business coming out from the side of Baddest Dudes, showing that funny business is their business. So making sure those lanes stay covered, that those wells stay covered. But it looks like no funny business for the meantime. Coming out from the Baddest Dudes, Thrall keeping an eye on that Malthael. Brightwing staying in the shadows. As we see Demon Grand taking a little bit of damage. Newton Rocks now coming out, getting a big W. But Tyrael denying that damage with the shielding. As ETC now coming in with the Brightwing. A slide onto Tyrael with a polymorph. But Giant Dwarf is going to get away just fine. Very nice coordinated gank attempt. Coming out from one more fight. Thrall and Malthael going to have a bit of a poke versus wave clear matchup in the top lane. Be interesting to see who manages to come out on top there. Echo skulking around looking for that slide. Doesn't manage to find anybody, but they will be clearing this wave. Giant Dwarf actually going in, getting polymorphed by the Brightwing, but using that smite speed to scoot on out of there. Mistelton getting a bit of damage onto the Thrall, but is at a bit of a mana disadvantage, as it looks like Rainer is rotating around, possibly looking to snipe that top camp with unawareness, or with one more fight remaining unaware. Rainer is going around that top side. Thrall going to keep busy there. Let's see if one more fight notices that there are only 3 members down here, as they're using that 4v3 advantage to siege this bottom tower. Li Ming, a very, very strong hero for doing this. Zul'jin, not bad himself, as we see Rainer working on this top camp. And I remember to put those talents up once again. We do not have Executioner on the side of Rainer, so it will take him a little longer. It looks like Mistelton did sniff out this attempt. Demon Grand taking a ton of damage here from the Rainer, but Midnight Fire also being driven away. Mistelton at full health, but not very much mana. Brightwing gonna tap and go back in. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we've got a 3v3 situation. Night Raven is now forced out by Brightwing. No mana, no health, and it will be one more fight taking that top camp. Mad Kaiser attempting to save that bottom tower, but it's only a matter of time now before it goes down to the poke of Hellstorm. Giant Dwarf once again interrupting that damage, using the health bar, but can't quite catch those as the bottom tower going down. Immortals spawning in about 15 seconds here. Both teams working on that Shaman camp. Brightwing and Zul'jin on one side, Rainer and Rhaegar on the other. Going to finish up a little bit faster here as Newton Rocks and Midnight Fire using the last bits of this Immortal spawn timer. And the race is on. This top-bottom view, a little bit hard to show both, but both teams racing to their best ability, as we have 4 members of one more fight on the Immortal here, and now 4 members for the Baddest Dudes attempting to race this down. It looks like one more fight had a bit of an advantage there. As the race continues, there will be no defense attempt here. Let's see who can finish off after the halftime show. A very close race here. Let's see who gets it. It will be, with 500 health remaining, One More Fight picking up this first race. Thrall headed to stop this Shaman camp. Will be versus Malthael in the top lane, as the Immortal getting ready to come down with basically no shielding, so we'll see how much One More Fight can get done, though this wall is half down already, so they will get a bit of fort pressure here. Giant Dwarf doing his best to ward away the members of One More Fight as they work on sieging this fort. With that Zul'jin and Li Ming, they will go down very quickly. Newton Rocks is going to have to be careful. The fort is very angry at him. Echo is going to have to back out as well. With that Sylvanas not on the side of either team, pushing down these forts with the Immortals will be a little bit difficult. Diving under the towers will be hard as well. We see a very brief level 7 advantage coming out for One More Fight, positioning around this bottom camp, and it looks like Baddest Dudes is just checking it as well. Both teams posturing here. No one willing to take it without an advantage ready. We see Malthael backing versus the Thrall here, trying to reset to re-engage there. Echo sliding in behind Demon Grand, who is polymorph, taking a lot of damage from the Zul'jin, but healed up by Rhaegar and won't get the pick just yet. Demon Grand is forced to back, as he's too low to engage into that Li Ming Zul'jin combo. Once again, another siege opportunity coming out here from Li Ming and Zul'jin, as we see Thrall finishing up his Echo of the Elements quest in the top lane. That'll provide him 2 charges of his Chain Lightning, which will help a lot in being able to poke out this Malthael. Giant Dwarf diving in onto Echo. Jaina Blizzard is out. Zul'jin pressuring onto Giant Dwarf. The slide catching no one. Echo is going to have to back on out of there. And with the Immortals spawning in 30 seconds, both Shaman camps will not be ready. They'll have to maybe take it on the halftime show, as we see Baddest Dudes backing, getting their mana ready, and One More Fight using this opportunity to pick up this neutral Goatman camp. Brightwing did morph up top. Brightwing did global up top to help Malthael take the top camp as well, so we're going to have 2 camps on the side of One More Fight pushing. While this goes in, Echo is being collapsed on by 4 members of Baddest Dudes. Is going to have to go the long way, get on out of there. A bit of a stun here from the Immortal, and it looks like it will be the defense from One More Fight for the meantime, until they can pressure onto the opposing side of the map. Here they come, trying to use that poke from Malthael and Li Ming to whittle this down without taking a proper engage. Echo soaking up as much damage as he can here, allowing Malthael and Li Ming to damage this Immortal from a safe distance. Zul'jin also using that W to poke in here. The Goatmen in the bottom lane have taken out the fort, as all 5 members of Baddest Dudes forced to stay here and defend. The longer that they stay here, the more these lanes are going to push out, so they're going to need to take an engage soon, or else these lanes are going to become untenable here, as about a half-level lead for One More Fight means that heroics are on the way soon. And with the poke coming out from One More Fight, this Immortal will inevitably go down. Let's see if Baddest Dudes can find the engage that they want here before the halftime show begins. Just a great poke composition coming out from One More Fight. Hellstorm actually backing here in a very tough position, as the Immortals do go to race positions. It looks like Baddest Dudes is just going to work to get this shielding down as quickly as possible, as One More Fight with actually only 3 members on there. Now finishing it off. And we are going to see a brief level 10 advantage for One More Fight, as the Immortal heads to the top lane. Malthael already preparing this lane so the Immortal can go straight onto the fort. It looks like we've got a bit of an invade here onto the Shaman camp. Mad Kaiser taking a lot of damage, but managing to scoot on out of there. A very nicely timed engage there for One More Fight, and it looks like they don't want to push with the Immortal. They're going to split off. They want Night Raven. Echo taking a lot of damage there from the towers. Will have to be healed up by Brightwing as they split push onto this bottom keep wall. Towers going down here. The Shaman camp still up is going to be able to tank this fort for a bit, as the push that they've shown and the poke that they've shown onto the Immortal is now going to be turned onto the keep. Working on that bottom well, Echo Now taking a lot of damage, a lot of negative armor from this fort. Has to get out of range. There he goes. Giant Dwarf holding the line there versus the pushing Shaman camp. It looks like one more fight won't be able to stay for long, and they will back out. The Immortal did take out one tower in the top lane. Raynor managing to clear. One more fight now retreating to this bottom Goatman camp. Will have to finish it up quickly, as Baddest Dudes may be looking to invade, but having to clear this wave first means one more fight will get out of here scot-free. Meanwhile, Malthael taking this camp off of the objective timing, wanting to make sure that Thrall is trapped, clearing that top lane for as long as possible, as the rest of Baddest Dudes clearing this bottom camp and possibly looking to push onto this wall. It looks like they're going to retreat and look for opportunities elsewhere. One more fight using their map position here and their lane vision to also take the top Goatman camp, and Baddest Dudes are going to have to look for an opportunity to look for a pick. They're coming through the middle of the map. They see Echo, but Echo sees them first and manages to escape the safe way. Looks like we've got a possible engage here in the top lane with a double camp. Giant Dwarf is going to have to be careful. He's going to have no minions on his side as Mistelton sniffs out the gank. Hellstorm actually being taken on by Tyrael. Bloodlust is out. Hellstorm is taking a ton of damage here, but not being able to finish the kill is Giant Dwarf, who goes down to the Brightwing pressure. Echo now taken out by the Tyrael trade. It's a 1-for-1 trade on tanks, but Raynor taken out by that collapsed wave. Mad Kaiser now being chased down, and Li Ming with the resets takes out Raynor, looking for Savior here. But Savior still has the wall to retreat to. A 3-for-1 trade, and still a very heavy minion wave here on the side of one more fight. They're going to take out this remaining tower, and they may go for more as the objective has spawned. But with this hero advantage, they're going to get as much structure damage as they can before they retreat to the Immortals. With all 5 members of Baddest Dudes up, one more fight is going to have to be a little bit careful on their race here, as they don't quite have vision of Baddest Dudes. They're coming in now. One more fight now backing off. They do manage to proc the halftime show before Baddest Dudes get there and get their engage. Let's see where the Immortals spawn. We've got a top spawn for one more fight, and that's where these teams are going to congregate here. Li Ming and Malthael actually down at the bottom lane tapping, so Baddest Dudes will get the positional advantage here. Midnight Fire having to use that Emerald Wind to escape, so that's one ult down on the side of one more fight. Thrall Earthquake about to come up in 5 seconds. That'll be the chance for a Bloodlust engage on the side of Baddest Dudes. Once again, we see the poke coming out from one more fight, which means Baddest Dudes are now engaging onto Zul'jin. Here comes that Bloodlust and that Earthquake combo, but Zul'jin goes unkillable. He's going to throw as many axes as he can before he gets killed. And Malthael looking for that healing in the middle of the fight. Baddest Dudes just putting out too much damage, and now Echo is going to have to slide away. A 5v4 advantage on the side of Baddest Dudes as they look to get some damage onto that Immortal, but Li Ming still up here poking down. Savior and Night Raven looking to force her out of there. Newton Rock's actually now putting some damage onto this Immortal, and it may be too late for Baddest Dudes as one more fight manages to pick up that Immortal, even one member down. And a lot of shielding left on this as it will push down that top lane. Now, will one more fight push with this Immortal, or will they split push this time? It looks like they're going to be going with the Immortal here in the top lane. They may be looking for a killing blow here, as a very healthy Immortal is going to be pushing down the top lane. They do have a 1-level advantage here that is about to be a 2-level advantage, though we still are on even talent tiers. Without the wall here, that's a lot of missing damage onto this Immortal. Baddest Dudes is going to have to be careful as they engage onto this. They want to make sure that that shield is gone before they could jump in too far. As we see the keep on the side of Baddest Dudes is taking a bunch of damage here from the Li Ming and the Zul'jin. Newton Rocks manages to escape the Tower's Wrath as Giant Dwarf doing his best to hold the line. The top keep is down. The shields are about to be gone for this Immortal. And it looks like one more fight may be pushing to win here. A good route onto ETC means that the slide won't be there. That mid-tower causing some positional issues for one more fight. And it looks like they may not commit to this core push as ETC is rooted by the core Echo. Now pushing back Savior, and they do manage to get a kill onto the Jaina, but we've got the ultimates coming out from Baddest Dudes in a disengage. The core down to 50% as the objective is defeated. Will one more fight be able to push in? No, it looks like they're going to start retreating here, not choosing to dive that core. Even with the Jaina down, they want to play it safe. They want to make sure they don't give up that advantage, and instead they choose to back off. It looks like there may be an invade onto this camp, though. Baddest Dudes is going to have to be careful. They still are one member down, and it looks like they're smartly going to back off and cede this camp over to one more fight. Hellstorm working on those mid towers, looking to create a little bit more space in this area for future invades. One more fight, thoroughly in control here on Battlefield of Eternity as they're heading down to this lower Goatman camp. Baddest Dudes just doing their best to keep these lanes clear. They're going to have to make sure the catapults don't group up in that top lane, or else that could become a problem once the Immortals spawn again. One more fight, looking for one more fight. That's a great point there, Brogan. And one more fight absolutely will be, as the Shaman camp being taken on the side of one more fight is going to be timed with the Immortal spawning in about 25 seconds here. And once again, both Goatman camps going over to the side of one more fight means that the Baddest Dudes will have to do some lane control before getting onto this Immortal. Here they are working on this bottom lane. They want to get this cleaned up before they have to get onto the Immortal as one more fight. Actually looking for a possible push here in the top lane. They may ignore the objective entirely. Can the Baddest Dudes respond in time, as it looks like they're going straight to the core here. Savior is there. Looks like the rest of the team and will be there for the defense. One more fight. Just faking, just testing. Is going to retreat here and head over to the objective, hoping to catch Baddest Dudes unaware, but seeing that the full defense was there, choose to retreat to this Immortal, and it will be going down very quickly with the Zul'jin, Li Ming, Malthael pressure. Echo looking to interrupt rotations as the halftime show is procced here. The Immortal, if won by one more fight, will be going down the bottom lane. Echo once again wanting to see the Baddest Dudes come in here. Baddest Dudes have one more chance for a big engage. Echo taking a bit of poke damage. Giant Dwarf looking for the charge onto Zul'jin, but the rest of his team out there, a huge mosh coming in from ETC as Giant Dwarf getting poked out by Zul'jin. The Last Right's not quite getting the Rainer as he manages to escape. And both teams very low here as Li Ming and Zul'jin work to poke down this objective. ETC looking to tap in the top lane. They're going to have to stop this Li Ming if they want the objective to cease here. As both teams still with 5 members up. Now Night Raven getting slid on by the ETC, getting pushed back. But that spell armor from the Thrall keeping him alive here. Bloodlust is now popped. Newton Rock's in a bit of trouble here, but manages to pop that Tazdingo, taking out the Tyrael. But it's going to be kills on both sides as 3 members of Baddest Dudes going down, 2 members of one more fight going down. Rainer taken out, Thrall taken out. It is a 5-man team wipe for one more fight, but they had at the cost of 2 members. They just have the Li Ming, the ETC, and the Brightwing, but that should be enough to push onto this core. They've got 20 seconds here to deal as much damage as they can. GG has been called by the Baddest Dudes, and it looks like with 3 catapults and a full minion wave here, it will be one more fight, taking this last core and taking the domination in this series. GG to one more fight. Very well done here on Battlefield of Eternity. Very well done indeed as we head over to the post-game screen. Baddest Dudes put up a great fight, but in the end, the poke from the Li Ming, Malthael, Zul'jin composition was just too much. They did manage to start getting the engages they wanted with the Tyrael and the Rhaegar and Thrall ultimate combinations in the endgame, but the level deficit was just too much in the end. Still, well played by both teams there. Good attempts by the Baddest Dudes, but one more fight victorious with the 2-0 on this day. Very nicely done. All right. Let me quickly reach out to see if we can get an interview with one more fight. Let's see if Midnight is available. Let's get the whisper out. Let's head over. Get in one of the lobby chats and see if we can find ourselves an interview with one more fight before we finish off tonight. I need to drink more water. My voice is cracking like crazy. That last team fight was hype. Just looking for a response here. See if we can get a quick interview for you folks in chat. If you have any questions for one more fight, go ahead and type them out now, as it looks like we're going to have Hellstorm joining me shortly. Hellstorm coming in now.
Hello.
Hello. Very well done from the side of one more fight. GG's.
Thank you, thank you.
So, game one. We saw the Juice Pirate strategy coming out from Baddest Dudes,
Yeah,
but it
we
looked
saw
like
that
you
too.
had a it looked like you had a very coordinated response there. Is that a strategy that has come out before in your matches?
We haven't seen it for almost a year, I think, more or less. But we've lost to it many, many times. And we've watched how pros used to handle it when even pros did it.
Mm-hmm.
And we could not do what pros did because they use heroes we don't. But we tried to find what was in their build that we could do something similar with, and we tried. In this particular game, we only saw it coming when they already had Fort, and we were like, oh damn, they're gonna pick Morales on the last pick, so we chose 2 arrow with push to try to deal with it a bit. But we saw it a bit late, so we were scared about it. But since we knew what to expect, we knew when they would attack, where they would attack, so we could be there and cast right on time every time.
Yes, it was very well done with the Johanna Brightwing response, delaying that push as much as possible, and then knowing that you had to end that game very quickly, managing to get the victory there. Very nicely done.
Yeah,
Now, if we move on
you always
to...
have, once you clear them, you have to counterattack. Otherwise it's done.
Right, because they can just keep pushing and pushing, and I thought you guys did a great job with that counter push, making sure that they only had a limited number of opportunities to get onto that keep. Now, if we look at this Battlefield of Eternity game, we saw a very strong poke composition coming out for you there. Did you get pretty much all the picks that you wanted on that map?
I think we had Joanna that we would have took that we did not get, and we took who did we took instead? ETC, which turned out really great. Otherwise, yeah, we were mostly intent on taking those heroes.
That's fantastic.
We wanted Vala also that they banned for our race, but Zul'jin does. So
yeah, Zul'jin definitely showing the value there, getting those axes onto the Immortal from range.
That was the point. We knew we could defend easily, and if they are in the defense, then we had the poke. So in both cases, it was fine. We just needed to make sure we didn't get out-murked or something, which we didn't. So it was going well.
No, I don't think you guys dropped a single merc camp that whole game. That was very nice macro control there.
Thank you.
Now, if we take one more question here, we saw Midnight Fire taking that Brightwing twice. Is that a favored hero for you guys, or was that a response to something you saw on the side of Baddest Dudes?
Brightwing?
Yes.
It's a favorite hero of Midnight. She finds it very good in general, and it's always good. Like I think they had a gray main in the first game, right? So it's also very good at countering that. So we like it. Less so in the second game. In the second game, I think I challenged the pick myself, but she was confident, so she took it anyways.
Comfort sometimes trumps meta, and I think we saw that here coming out from you guys for sure. All right, so a fantastic series from you guys. Are there any shout-outs you want to make before we close up here?
I'd like to shout out to other member who did not play tonight, which is Lord Gaiek. I usually like to shout out to all our team member when they're not here. And yeah, so thank you for you guys casting us and taking some time for this. It's very appreciated too.
Oh, it's my pleasure entirely. A great series coming up from One More Fight, and good luck in your future games.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.